delay marriage by seeking a university degree. It isn't that Iranian men necessarily make bad husbands. Like my dear father, many are kind and gentle and interested in their wives as people, not just bearers of their children. Then again, some are not. There are family teas, gift-givings, and dinners, but a woman often spends no time alone with her fiancé before her wedding. So it is, as one might say in America, a crapshoot. A woman goes into her husband's family in a white gown, and she leaves it only in a white shroud, in death. That is our culture. And that is our future, inescapable for most girls. Inescapable, it had begun to seem, even for me. On the occasion of my 27th birthday, my parents hosted a celebration dinner for me in their fine North Tehran apartment. We typically do not celebrate birthdays in a large fashion, but it had been a troublesome time for me, and they hoped to bring me happiness. In only my 4th year of teaching, I'd recently resigned my position against the advice of my parents. And this after I'd dreamed so long of being a teacher of young girls. Increasingly since I'd begun, I suffered stabbing headaches, murderous stomach aches. My constitution simply wasn't strong enough to bear the demands of being a teacher of young girls in a religious regime. Once I resigned, my physical ailments diminished, but so did my world. I rarely left home. The streets were hostile and I had no destination, no dreams to carry me forward. Not yet 27, I felt the weariness of someone who'd lived 100 joyless years. I fell into a horrible depression. My dear parents must have suspected my desperation, for they gathered together all the people I loved for a grand birthday celebration, all the people they knew could make me laugh. There were Minou and Leila, my dear friends from university with whom I'd giggled my way through, spending hours at Leila's house dancing to bootleg videos of Siavash concerts. There were Mehrshad and Roxana, my father's brother and his wife, and most important, Ali and Homa Kermoni, whose friendship with my parents was unquestionably the stroke of grace that made their lives in Iran bearable. The roots of their friendship ran long and deep. Ali Agha hired my father as an engineer way back when not many would consider hiring him because of his Western ways, and Ali Agha had guarded my father's job ever since. Besides that, we vacationed with them and celebrated holidays with them and treated them as if they were our own family. They had one adored son, Reza, 12 years older than me. He'd been living in London for a long time, although Homa Khanum kept me apprised of his doings. "You know, Aga Reza returns from London next month," she announced on this night as we gathered around a sofra in our dining room and ate a celebration dinner of lamb kebab and saffron rice. "He has accepted a job at the Free University and is ready to settle down and be married. A professor, you know." I felt Minou and Leila's eyes on me, but I averted my gaze from them and smiled politely at Homa Khanum. I tried to hide my heavy heart, tried to suppress the instant realization that this, then, is how it would happen. I no longer had to wonder. I was cocooned in my father's house with no job and no other marriage prospects. My parents loved Aga Reza as if he were their own son. This, then, is how it would happen. I would go into their house in a white gown, as Reza's wife, and I would leave it only in a white shroud. And in between, my world would remain so small, so painfully, so suffocatingly small. Shortly before dawn, the party ended. The women rubbed off their makeup, cloaked their beautiful party clothes under their manteaux, and tucked their coiffed hair under their headscarves. My mother, my father, and I kissed each guest upon both cheeks. We warned them, be careful, watch for the roadblocks, and remember, please, please remember, if stopped by the Basijis, do not say where it was you drank the homemade beer. And do you think perhaps you should spend the night? But no. It was time to brave their way from the safeness of our home into the dark Tehran night, out onto the public streets, where bad things could happen, and often did. When finally they were out the door, my